Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
Wait, no, sorry, I'm not married to that.
That was really stupid.
Let's try this one again.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And this is Not Married to This.
Okay, Joe, my show's about to start. Welcome back to Not Married to This. Today we are joined by the two amazing experts from season 20 of Married at First Sight. Please welcome Dr. Lisa and Paul. Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you. I have just binged the show.
Oh, wow.
And it's my first season watching Married at First Sight. I'm obsessed.
You love it?
I'm obsessed.
How many episodes have you seen?
I've seen up to the most recent one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're really in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was having you guys in today. I had to be prepared, you know?
What do you think?
I mean, I think it's great. I think the concept is so interesting. We're going to get into all the blind dating shows that are going on right now, and I want to get all your takes on that. I think that it is both unbelievable and very believable, which is, I think, the perfect combination for reality TV.
Yes.
But I want to get into who you both are and what makes you experts in your field and why you're both the perfect fit for this show. So, Paul, you are a matchmaker, relationship expert, and head of global research at Tinder. Can you just kind of tell our listeners more about you?
Sure. Born in New York, live in London, married, consider myself a husband first, father second, Jamaican heritage. I love. I've been on the UK version of Married at First Sight for the last 8 years. And it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to do this, you know, especially with this one.
Oh, that's good stuff, PB.
Dr. Lisa.
Sounds like his dating profile. Did you hear? He loves love. That could be your tagline.
I love love.
I love it.
Yes.
Dr. Lisa, you seem to love too.
I love love and sex.
You are a relationship and sexual health expert. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I've been in private practice for over 20 years, helping couples and individuals. And I'm also a board certified clinical sexologist, so also sex therapy and public sex health. I am a mom of 3 boys and also a wife for 20 plus years. So all the things, and also feel super privileged to sit next to Paul and do this project. This was amazing.
Yes.
Paul, you have been on the UK version for years. Yes. Tell us about the knowledge and expertise you brought over from working on that show into this kind of revamp of the US version.
Married at First Sight UK, I've learned quite a bit there. And I would say that there's lots of distinguishing elements to the UK versus the US, format-wise, etc. But one of the biggest is in the participants. You know, the participants in the UK show up differently, and they require different things from their partners. You know, I say it all the time, like here, what surprised me was you sit down and the participants just want to talk about how much money do they want their partner to make. Like that was a serious requirement, money, politics, religion.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, that doesn't come up as often. It doesn't mean that the participants there don't care about it, but it doesn't come up as often.
We have Love Island US and we have Love Island UK. A lot of people highlight the difference in banter and the way that they connect with one another. Is that something you saw as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a brilliant observation as well. Is banter in the UK is a way to essentially determine if there's connection, if there's chemistry. And if you look at it from the outside in, it feels very insulting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Whereas here, I think that it is, it's not necessarily banter. It's conversation, right? But it's not banter. But the communication is different. And I was telling Lisa, I think today or yesterday, like how I felt. I personally felt like a foreigner, you know, in the experiment. And to me, what was so beautiful was I was able to learn from the participants and learn from Lisa, because I really feel more, you know, to a certain degree British than I do American now.
Dr. Lisa, this was your first season being a part of the show. How did you feel coming into this crazy world?
Yeah, it was amazing. First and foremost, you have certain people that come into your life and you're like, oh my God, they're going to make every experience better. Paul was that for me, right? And he's been such like a good, I don't know, it's true, a good friend and guide. And no, I mean, it's true. Sometimes you just have a connection with somebody and you trust their leadership. I was also really excited. I think it's a major privilege to meet with these people and have them turn over their hearts and one of the biggest decisions they're going to make in their life and be like, can you help us? Can you guide us? Can you find someone for us? So I went in really excited and feeling like this is a big privilege to be able to connect these people. And it has proven as such. It feels like a big privilege and it's been super fun.
The concept of the show, Married at First Sight. Why do you think people are so willing to marry a stranger?
We were talking about this earlier, and you made a great point. I want to bring it up
Go
here
for
because
it.
this was epic. Is that what a lot of people don't realize because we're in the West, right? Is that most of the societies around the world have had arranged marriages throughout the history of the world. So the majority of the world has lived under this concept that now so many people here are calling foreign and distinct. And so that's one thing I think that we have to just take for a second. Like, it's not a bizarre concept. It is a concept that is in place today.
Right.
The big difference here is it's televised.
That's right. Well, and it's not your families, it's the matchmakers, right?
Yeah.
I also think that people are so willing. One of the common threads of the participants is they're all really smart, cool people who were employed, and is that they were hitting a wall. And I think a lot of viewers and a lot of listeners can relate to, I want love, whatever I'm doing isn't working. I might as well try something wild and different and see if maybe it proves successful. And so I think that that was also one of the pieces.
Also, too, as you think about dating, right? And you think how you can date today. You have no idea who that person is that you're dating, right? Whereas here, we're doing background checks, right? We're vetting them. Like, you were getting someone who is relatively the safest person you've probably ever dated. I mean, it's a win.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Why do you think arranged marriages can work? What's the benefit of an arranged marriage?
Statistically, arranged marriages have the highest satisfaction rates on the planet. Right. And so that's something that a lot of people will say, oh, I don't know about that. No, those are facts. Those are facts. Now, why is it? Right. That's what you're asking. I think that ultimately we have an inconsistent view of who we actually are. There's cognitive dissonance, in actually who we are, what our true identity is, etc. But who knows you? Well, those around you, your friends, your family. Back in the day when my wife and I had a matchmaking business here in the States. And what we would do is we would interview the friends and family of our clients.
So smart.
And we would build a profile based on what the friends and family said, not based on what the client said. And we would use that to match everyone. In essence, we're doing something very similar, right? Where we're collecting lots of data on the individual and then we're matching you based on that. That's the reason why. We're actually matching on the purest version of you, not the representative of you.
We also talk about, to tag up on that, people come in with their list, with what they want. And our job is also to listen to those requirements and then listen to the words in between and say, Paul and I share a similar philosophy, which is the shorter the list, the more open you are to a successful relationship. Because the longer the list, the more rigid, the more closed-minded, the more you're going to write someone off fast.
Yes.
So it's also about, they come in thinking what they know they need, and then it's our job to say what you think you might need might not actually be what you need.
What do you think it's like for these contestants to build trust both with you guys as the experts and with their new partners? Because as someone, I would see myself and be like, I know what's best for myself. Why would I put my hands in someone that doesn't really know me? Why would I commit to someone that I've never met before? I feel like there's a lot of trust that they have to give. Yeah. What was that like?
That is a brilliant question. And I think this, right, being kind of inside of a TV production, it's very, very challenging, I believe, to build trust with the participants of the show, because it is a actual social experiment that's happening, right? But the participants also can see cameras as well. They are interacting with crew. They're interacting with us. And also their interactions with us are limited. That's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, we're not with them every day, but we are with them often enough to be able to identify patterns, right? And so I think that the most challenging aspect to our job is to building trust with them so that they will actually listen to what we have to say so that we can help to shape their behavior. And the best assessment of that trust is at the very end, right? You can see if they're still with us at the very end. But that, to me, is the hardest part.
Yeah. And listen, and that's why it's a privilege, right? And that's why it's a privilege that they're opening up to us. And I think one of the things that we really aim to do is be very respectful and very tuned in into learning who they are, right? Because if they know that we are there for their best interest and to help them grow, that's how they learn or make the decision, I really should say, to let us in, you know? So it's a credibility piece.
Do you think that some of the hesitation and mistrust that contestants often feel towards production also applies to your role, or do you sense more openness with you guys?
I feel as if they were locked in.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel as if they were locked in.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why they feel locked in is that they know that we take this very seriously, right? And that we want the best for them. And we're not going to sugarcoat anything for them. Yeah.
You know, you see that Paul really calls everybody to the table. I'll call bullshit when it needs to be called, but from such a space of love and respect. It's not to shame anyone and it's not to put them down. It's to say, guys, we're holding you to your highest self. We respect you. We want you to be your best version. And we talk about like almost the way you would parent your child, where you're like, I love you. I'm going to hold you to your highest. I'm going to call you out when you're not being your best. And so I do think that that's one of the ways trust gets built, is to not yes them to death and also rise up. We see the best in you.
Yeah. And I think what I love about our teamwork is that we know each other so well that, you know, if, say, Lisa is calling someone out and she's being heavy-handed with them, I know to come in with a little bit of honey.
Yes.
A little good cop, bad
A
cop.
little bit of honey. Drop a little bit of honey on them, right?
And vice
Yeah.
versa. And vice versa.
I like that.
Yep.
What does compatibility mean to you two?
Oh.
I mean, I think it's the gateway to commitment. You know, I think that we talk about chemistry.
Yep.
Chemistry to me is a spark. Compatibility is the commitment piece. That's to me, that's how it shakes out.
Yeah, compatibility, it's that plus having a shared vision of how you want to move through this world. You know, I always say, like, everyone says, oh, I want someone that makes me laugh. But if what makes you laugh is this kind of humor and what makes you laugh is this kind of humor, you're not going to find the same things funny, right? Just to offer a very sort of low-hanging fruit example. And so compatibility is also, do we share the same definition of how we want to move through this life or the same vision of what that means?
When you guys are pairing people together in your matchmaking process, is there a hierarchy of traits? So for example, if someone comes in and says, I want this person that I'm gonna marry at first sight to make $200K a year, I want them to be funny, I want to have sex this many times a week typically, I wanna live near my family. How do you look at that and say, okay, I think these two are the most important? Or is it more about this person's a great fit, for 3 out of the 4, we're gonna sacrifice that 4th one?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I zone out when they say that.
Really?
I do.
feel like that's something that's talked about a lot during the show with like, I said this, I said this.
Yeah, all the time. A behind the scenes piece that I think is very important for everyone to know is that, you know, Lisa and I interview, how many people before the show?
80 to 100.
80 to 100 people. Okay. And that's after they have been vetted through, you know, however many rounds, 8 rounds of different tests that they've taken. So as a production, it's a very serious endeavor in terms of who kind of finally makes it. But can you imagine interviewing 80 to 100 people and all 80 start with, I want somebody who makes 200,000. I want somebody that's going to make me laugh. I want somebody that I can do nothing with. And like, I zone out. Quite honestly, I do.
Do a lot of the answers become repetitive? Like, does everyone kind of say the same thing?
Absolutely.
That's the whole point. Well, and I think that is one of the common challenges of relationships is we all say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I want good sex. I want respect. I want appreciation. I want to laugh with someone. I want to watch a sunset. I want to go on an adventure. Everyone says the same thing, which is also why I think some of the dating apps, by the time they get to us, they're like, we've hit a wall because everyone's checking the same box. What does that look like to you? What does that mean?
You know, a great example of this too is that every guy, not every guy, I hate to say every, right? So
Majority.
I'll say 99.9% of the
you go.
guys come in and say, you know what, I'm looking for sex every day. Right. Like literally, they're like, I'm looking for sex every day.
Yeah.
Now, you've been married for 3 years, right? You're not having sex every day.
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? None of us are having sex every day.
Nor should we be, actually.
Yeah.
Nor should we be.
So that is just an example of how we say these things that are almost meaningless to the actual relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But we still look for, is there a shared value structure? Do we think that these people have similar definitions of how they want to move through the world? Are they valuing intellectual intimacy? Do they have similar endeavors? So not so much this metric of like, he has to be 5'9", more so like, who you are in the world. And you can see there is compatibility through these couples.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like that's almost why so many people say, I want to be set up by a friend. I want to be set up by a coworker.
Yes.
I want someone to pick someone for me who knows me because, not to sound like Adam, but like sometimes there's a bit of a vibe where you say, I feel like knowing these two people, there'll be a connection.
Yes, yes, that's exactly right. And the challenge is people's concentric circles are only so big. So like, how many single people do you know that you think would be a good, right? Like that winds thin. And I think that that's also part of the appeal of this process is it's like people have hit a wall. Yes, they would like someone to pick for them, but who's doing that? Paul and I are.
There you go. And
There
you're
you
doing
go.
a great job.
There you go.
Is there something that cannot be overlooked when it comes to matching two people together? Where you say, if this is present, it's just not going to work.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, the psych eval typically takes
Good call.
takes
Solid
care
call.
of most of that.
They have to be
Solid
sane.
call.
They have to be sane.
Solid call.
Yeah. But you know, I think ultimately for me is you want to see someone who there's a willingness to be coached, a willingness to change their behavior, right? That's what I look for. So in the initial workshops, I'll often give a bit of advice and see how it's received. If it is pushed away, if it's not accepted, I begin to think, okay, this is someone who might not listen and therefore would make a horrible participant in the experiment. So for me, it's that willingness to allow their behavior to be molded.
Interesting. That totally makes sense when you're going to be paired with someone that you don't know and you're probably going to be putting in a lot of work in right up front.
That's it.
To get to the sweet spot.
And we always say that that's one of the things we can't account for, right? Is are they going to feel a spark and are they going to be willing to really do the work, right? That's what we're looking for. And that's the thing I think we hope and becomes a predictor of how they'll go through this process. Are they going to do the work? Are they going to receive the feedback? Are they going to make the adjustments once they receive the feedback?
Yes.
It seems like physical attraction is the one variable that you cannot really
That's right.
formulate. I don't know if that's the right word, but how do you go about that when you're matchmaking? Because for me, physical attraction would be super important.
Yep.
I would say a lot of people from Bachelor Nation would say that physical attraction is super important for them. You would think people that go on dating shows with an element of blindness, Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, physical attraction wouldn't be ranked super high because they're kind of removing that. They're saying, oh, it's not as important to me. But it does seem like the one thing, if it's not there, the relationship just doesn't seem to work.
No, I agree. Unless, you know, some people, you know, they come on and they get their epiphany late, right? And what I mean by that is like some people will say, oh, I'm sapiosexual. So therefore, it's, you know, it's going to require a level of intelligence, et cetera, to really get me going. You know, then they realize that they're not sapiosexual. You know what I mean? There are many things that we do to try to mitigate that first meeting and whether or not there will be attraction. You could look at type preference. You could look at body type preference. You can look at historically who people have dated, who they find attractive, etc. So you could do all of those things. But at the end of the day, you cannot. That is the one category that you cannot verify prior to those two actually seeing each other.
And yet, one of the things we ask of the participants is to be willing to sit tight, because we like the idea that chemistry is the first thing. But if you think about the order of the way a relationship develops, sometimes the connection, the emotional connection, the intellectual intimacy, the humor connection, sometimes that's what sparks first, and then the physical connection comes later. So it is so important that it's there, but it's not necessarily important that it's the first thing we feel. So the willingness to sit tight through it is pretty critical.
Right. A little bit of a friends to lovers trope.
Literally.
Yeah. To sit tight through it.
To sit tight through it. I had to. I mean, there's so many.
Love it,
but I mean, literally.
Yeah.
You got to sit tight through it.
You got to sit through it.
You gotta sit tight through it. There you go. Thank you to Ashley for sponsoring today's segment. Joe and I are so comfy in these chairs right now, which is our favorite way to podcast. Comfortable, cozy, luxurious.
Yeah, and thank you, Ashley, for hooking us up with this space, which is my favorite space. This is my safe space.
It is. It's the best. I love that the chairs are non-skid, and also you can remove, reverse, wash these cushions, because we do have a lot of guests coming in and out of this space, and we want to be good hosts. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that people have this gorgeous table to put their coffee on, they can sit comfortably, and we can see each other. I feel like the chairs are the perfect addition for that.
The most rewarding thing for me as an interior designer is when people walk into our space and they look and they say, "Oh my God, I love your studio."
I know, that's a good feeling. It really is. And so many of these pieces, not just the chair, but our side table and also the Neo Curve console table in the back, are all from the Ashley Luxe collection. I feel like they tie together so perfectly and just allows us and all of our guests to feel really comfortable in this space.
Definitely.
Discover the new Ashley Luxe collection by visiting Ashley in store online at ashley.com/luxe. Was there a couple or couples that you felt the most confident in, or ones that you were the most nervous for?
I don't know if we're gonna have different answers. I feel very maternal toward them all. I start from a place of believing in all of them. I mean, we matched them, right? So I stand behind all of them from day one. And then, Paul always says that we make the match, not the marriage.
Yeah.
That's Paul's famous line. I think it really
like that.
encompasses our philosophy.
Absolutely. Because I think that we truly, our role shifts from the moment we match them. That's one particular role that we take on, very serious. And then we shift into this, mother, father, big brother, big sister,
Yes.
auntie, uncle.
Yes.
We're going to try to help you to become the best version of you, even if that means you need to leave your partner, right? And I think it's a subtle shift that we make that's very important for everyone to realize.
Yeah.
We're not hoping that every couple makes it to the end. We're actively trying to shake them, to make them realize you may not be in the right relationship. We were wrong with our match.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yes. But no, I don't feel more or less hopeful about anyone, or more or less no, I feel excited for them all at the start.
Yeah. You guys, in so many ways, I feel like for both the cast and the audience, act after the match is made like a beacon of hope. There's so many times that they go into sessions with you and I'm like, it's over, call it quits. They hate each other. And you approach it with so much like, you guys are a great fit in so many ways. Like, let's figure this out. And then they leave and you can tell they're like, yeah, let's figure this out. I'm watching TV. I'm like, yeah, guys, let's figure this out. Is it hard at any point to watch a couple struggling and find ways to convince them or encourage them, I guess, to push forward?
I think only if we don't believe it.
Also, it's our job, right? I mean, I don't know. it's our job is to help them come in and work through the pieces and the struggle. So no, it's never an internal piece of like, this is going to be a challenge to convince them. I think it's always, how do we reach them? And literally that is our job, to figure out, how do we hold them? How do we rise? How do we help them find their patterns? How do we shake them so they can grow? No, I think that's the privilege piece, right? Is to be able to be like, let's go guys, let's do the work. And they walk into our offices on the show to do the work. That's what we're here for. Let's do the work. Same in the group sessions. I mean, you see, Paul sets the ground rules before group sessions. Says, we are here to do the work tonight. He asks each and every one, is that fair? And they all say yes. And so let's go. Let's do it.
I love it. Let's go through a couple of the couples.
Okay.
Adam and Marissa. How did you feel about the fact that they had met each other before?
We didn't know, and negligible. I mean, I don't think it impacted. I don't think it actually impacted anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, I was shocked,
Yeah.
but it was okay.
If anything, maybe it was like, okay, we know they're attracted to each other.
Sure. Also, I think you and I talked about that. Listen, it's a regional, everyone is from that area. And so they're a certain age bracket. There's a chance they might have run into each other.
Yeah. How did you feel about the athletic lifestyle differences between the two of them, and did you foresee that as a potential issue when you matched them?
No, that was something that Adam leaned into heavier and heavier as the experiment went on, right? And I think there's two schools of thought there. One is that he began to realize the marriage that he actually wanted, right? The other is that he realized that Marissa wasn't the right one for him, and he began to try to work himself out of that relationship. You can argue, I think, both sides cleanly, yeah.
I think that was a great example when we talk about the things we think are important to us, and watching these participants learn about the thing you think you know up front might not be the thing that holds true. For me, it really felt like we were watching Adam discover what he didn't think was such a big deal, or not a pivotal litmus test, right, of recreational intimacy, became a really big deal for him, where I think he was learning that, oh my God, I really do want to live my life with someone who can recreate at that level of intensity. And maybe I don't think he understood up front how big that was for him until he was in it.
Right. It sounds like it was something that he had, that until he didn't have it anymore in a partner, he wasn't able to see how much he valued it.
Certainly.
Yeah, good observation.
Sean and Nikki. I could say a lot about them. It's been a roller coaster.
Yes.
Let's talk a little about the wifely duties conversation. We kind of see a little behind the scenes. We see the conversation that's addressed on camera. Do you think that Sean is adjusting the narrative when the cameras are there versus the way him and Nikki are communicating behind the scenes?
You know what I would love? This is not to avoid, because I think we should answer this. But truly, what is your opinion of those two? Because you said there's a lot I could say, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that Sean and Nikki, they are they're demanding a lot of attention from people. Like, people are all in. My wife's WhatsApp is all Sean and Nikki.
Really?
Right now. Oh my God, that's it. That is it.
I think they give the most emotional response from the viewer. When you're watching Sean and Nikki, I have the most anxiety when I watch them. I have the most frustration. I have the most confusion out of all of the couples. They are the one that surprises me the most at times.
I think that word frustration, that nails it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we felt a lot of the time working with them. I felt that way, where I would be like, guys, you got to get out of your own way. Like, you got to come up for air. Yes, that's exactly the right word, Serena. It was a lot of being in their heads, and they were thinking through the experiment and what marriage is. And I think a lot of the time we were asking them, just stop thinking so hard, be in it. Like, and there are moments with them where you can see when they are not thinking so hard and they're just sort of feeling and being. They had some very nice rapport at varying moments.
Yeah.
The wifely duty, I mean.
Yeah, you know, so I have so many thoughts about them. Like, so many. We could do a full podcast, I think, on Nikki and Sean.
Yes.
My two quick ones is for Sean. I believe that he was presented with someone that he began to realize is has more intellectual capacity than him, is more bougie than he, makes more money, and he is trying to reconcile with how to deal with that, right? Also, I think as he's watching this back, he's seeing how wrong he was in so many ways, and how and that's he just came out with an apology.
Yes.
Literally apologizing for how he showed up.
Yep.
So that's kind of one take. The other is just me personally. I was shocked to see those security cameras.
So was I.
I didn't know they were getting down like that on the security cameras. You know what I mean? And so I was so then what comes to mind is okay, how close were they? What really
happened?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think happened?
Be more specific. What do you mean?
What do you think happened physically between those two?
I think it was a lot of heavy making out, some over the clothes petting.
Okay.
I don't think any under the pants stuff, under the shirt stuff, maybe. If we're getting specific on Nikki and Sean's sex life, that would be my best guess. But I was surprised to see the sexual connection, for sure. And I was surprised by the ways that they were presenting their sexual relationship. They clearly had very different perspectives on what was going on in their sexual relationship, I feel like. And yeah, I think that with Sean and Nikki, they are very similar in a lot of ways, but it feels like they're working so hard that it's making things worse.
That's a good read.
I don't know.
You'll have to keep watching.
I'm gonna keep watching.
I think you are going to be shocked as you keep watching.
I'm 100% sure I will be shocked.
We cannot wait.
I'm 100% sure, because I have been shocked by them every step of the way. I think they are so different than me in the way they move, think, speak, everything, which is interesting. It's interesting to watch people and learn about people that are different than you.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to you after the whole show is over.
Oh, I can't wait. Felipe and Tori. What I want to talk about here is Felipe from the get-go has shown a lot of signs of not being ready. He's showing up to meetings, haven't slept, hungover, party boy vibe a little bit. He surprised me a lot when he first got with Tori. And now we're seeing him talk about, I think I'm going to miss sleeping with other women. You guys gave him a chance for a reason. It does seem like you really believe in him. Where does that belief come from?
Felipe has a giant heart. He comes from a great family. He knows what love is at a fundamental level. And I think that, when Paul talks about, we look at how people move through the world. Are they coachable? Felipe really, he understands love. He lives love. This is another person that I think as it went on, I think he really thought he was ready, and he realized he was not as ready as he thought.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's someone who, we believed understood the power and the importance of love. And there was a willingness to listen and reshape his behavior. Also, he's transparent.
Yes.
And that's something that, obviously bites him in the ass. But at the same time, do we not want our partners to be transparent with us?
That's right.
It is interesting because when he's sitting there being like, I'm kind of worried about the idea of only sleeping with one person for the rest of my life. I actually think that's something a lot of people feel. You just don't necessarily say it to your partner or a table of people.
That's right. I think when you say a lot of people, I would say, to use Paul's numerics, 99.9% of people, when they are about to become monogamous forever after, toy with this headspace of, that means I'm never going to sleep with anybody else again in my life. And there are big feelings that come up around that. And to your point, Felipe he was just saying it out loud.
He's got no filter.
No, he's like, pass the salt. And
let me tell you everything about my life.
I love sleeping with a lot of people, right?
Let's do a little Devin and Caitlin, Courtney and Nick all at once, okay? I like all of them individually a lot.
Yeah. Us too.
Both couples just seem like, to quote the movie, just not that into each other. And it feels a lot of the time so forced, so uncomfortable. How do you guys as experts, I'm not saying they're going to call it quits, obviously, but how do you know when to look at a couple and say, all right, they've had enough?
when there's no longer effort.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say effort equals interest. And so if you begin to see someone no longer exerting effort, to me, that's someone no longer interested in the relationship or the person they have the relationship with.
Yeah, I would second that. Listen, I also think that they really were, this is sort of what you're saying, effort. They were trying. You saw that they were all trying to figure out the lock and key to get the connection working. Because like you said, you like them all individually as people. They are all great people, and sort of the ingredients individually all worked. They were having a hard time figuring out how to click, I think. But wait.
Yeah. That's one where, we have to talk about after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have you guys back.
Yeah.
Last, let's finish off on kind of, I would say, our two best couples at this point in the show. We've got Belle and Mecca, who they've had kind of a journey to get here, but they seem really happy right now. And then I think the obvious favorite, Michelle and Cameron. I just love them. They give me like goosebumps. What do you think these couples are doing right? And why do you think they're working? Specifically Michelle and Cameron. It feels effortless with them. It just feels like, lock and key, perfect fit in a lot of ways.
That's, I think, true readiness. They're staying very curious. We've watched, and you and I have talked a lot about this, when we talk about the list. Michelle had a very strong opinion on how much someone should make. And she's a glowing example of what you think you want may not be what you want. So they're staying open to the idea of continuing to let love in, let like in spite of the fact that it's not necessarily meeting the initial list. And look at what's happening, right? They're thriving.
Yeah. I have a theory that I would say applies to 3 of the 4 people that you just mentioned. Okay. The theory is when you're in a relationship and you believe that you have, in essence, won the lottery by your partner being interested in you.
Yeah.
Right? Like you won the lottery. Then typically it works. You know what I mean? That to me is a great litmus test on the strength and the longevity of a relationship.
Does it remove the fear that a lot of people have of, not even fear, but that question of what if I can do better? What if there's better out there, when someone's like, this is the best thing ever?
Yes, it also keeps you present to being appreciative of what is in front of you. And appreciation is a really core feature to making a good relationship. And so if winning the lotto is the headline, the daily expression of that is, I appreciate you, and you're seeing that play out. And if you're in that present state, you're not feeling like, but what else might be out there?
Yes. So this point that you're making, I think is very important. So one of my favorite books is written by Barry Schwartz, and it's The Paradox of Choice. And in The Paradox of Choice, he's the one that's coined less is more, or more is less. And one of the biggest challenges right now in the quote unquote dating market is this perception that we have endless opportunity. Now, I say perception because you don't, right? You don't. And so to this point, if you are living in a world where you feel like you have endless opportunity, and then you got the one person that's the greatest of all great people, I mean, it makes it pretty damn clear that you shut it all down and you focus on them.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've told my sons. Like, so, and this is not for me for people to say, "Whoa, gosh," but truly, 25 years in, I'm like, man, I won the lottery with my wife. Like, I straight up won.
Yeah.
Like, I won.
My dad says that too.
Yeah.
So nice.
So it makes every decision crystal clear when you feel like you're with a lottery winner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my very good friends, he met his now wife in high school. They've been together ever since. And he always used to say, I will never do better than Mackenzie. Like, in a joking, self-deprecating way, he'd be like, she's the best I'm going to get. She's so hot. She's hotter than me. She's amazing. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful way to look at your partner of like, this is the best person anyone could ever get, and I'm lucky to be the one that got them.
Exactly.
That. and to be open about it, right? To name it, to say it. I one time had patients years ago, and the woman said, I just want to feel like my husband is the president of my fan club. And I loved it. I thought it was such a smart way to conceptualize how you want to feel, right?
Yes.
Or how you want your partner to feel about you. And so you see that very much with Cam and Michelle, right? They just think the other one hung the moon.
Yes.
It's very cute. Out of 70 couples formed on the show throughout 20 seasons, 12 are still married, so about 17%. What do you think needs to change to increase those numbers?
I think those are great numbers,
Yeah, I was going to
actually.
say, it's interesting you
That's pretty
presented
good.
them like they were bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like, do you want to increase them or?
I mean, sure, but let's start with in the wild.
Yeah.
50% of elective marriages end in divorce.
That's true.
So if we're hovering at 17% of our married at first sight arranged marriages, I'm not mad at that as a base start.
Right. And on top of that, too, is if I were to ask, so what's the number one method that people use today to find their significant other? It is
Dating apps.
Dating apps. What is the success rate of dating apps?
I would guess 10%.
It's less than 1%.
Really?
And I
Is
know
it
these
really?
numbers. It's less than
Wow.
1% in terms of that translates into marriage.
Into marriage. Okay.
Less than 1%. So the number one method gives you less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
These are projects that we have not worked on. So
Right.
we'll say this franchise gives you 17%. Which one do you want?
It's a great point. I guess we're all getting married at first sight.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to say good or bad. Out of all the couples, who is surprising you the most? Or you can say good or bad if you want to.
You're going to think this is a cop-out. Because I feel sort of maternal or auntie in my... They're all showing up and showing growth in their own way, right? And so I try, and I think you do too, to do what we're asking of them, which is to stay curious and to stay curious about the process. So if we're staying curious about them and their growth, I don't know, you might have a more pointed answer.
No. So with this, and I know you think this, right, is that as we're watching, we're discovering new things.
Yes.
Right. And that's one part of the show that I think really needs to be underscored, is that we, myself and Dr. Lisa, we don't see everything
Right.
until the show comes out, right? We only have what they are providing us.
Like proper therapy, essentially.
Exactly. When they come in for a session, whatever they give us is the only thing that we have. Now we do eavesdrop on the dinner
Dinners.
parties, so we could see the dinner parties, but we don't know what's happening in the apartments. We don't know what's happening in terms of their when they go out with their friends and their family. So of course we are surprised. Like I talked about the security cameras, I was shocked to see Nikki straddling Sean.
I was shocked
on
to see
that couch.
that too. I was like, get after it, guys, but I didn't see this one coming.
Yeah. So
Let's talk just a few questions on dating for people listening that want to get advice from the experts that maybe aren't going to make their way onto Married at First Sight.
Okay.
What do you think people are doing wrong when they're seeking partners?
They're forgetting that it's difficult and that it's not going to be easy, right? I think that we are a very immediate instant gratification culture right now. And I think people are cutting and running as soon as it gets difficult. Marriage is long, it's hard, it's a choice. And so I think that people need to recognize you got to ride the highs and lows and be willing to make the commitment each day.
Yeah, but you also, there's an underlining silver line, if you will, with these statistics, and that is that the divorce rate is staying relatively flat now. So it kind of went down and it stayed relatively flat. However, the satisfaction rate is beginning to climb in relationships. We have long used the length of a relationship as the determinant for how successful it is, which is totally incorrect, right? The fact that our grandparents were together for 60 years is meaningless because my grandparents hated each other.
Right.
Like they legit hated each other,
Yeah.
loved and hated.
Yep.
So the real question is, how satisfied are you in that relationship? The satisfaction rate's going up. Why? Because we're armed with so much more information.
Yep.
Projects like Married at First Sight, podcasts like this, more books, more discussion, right? We're armed with more emotional language, right? We are, so for me, it's not doom and gloom out here. It is, you know what? we're shaking the world right now. The patriarchy is being shaken. We are changing how we view relationships and how we view marriages, and all of this is good. The result is going to be good.
I love that. I didn't know that satisfaction rates are up, and I think that is beautiful.
Yes.
Do you think, and Lisa, Dr. Lisa, I'll have you answer this question first. Do you think every couple can benefit from couples counseling?
Of course the therapist believes in therapy. But all kidding aside, yes, I think that there is always a value. However, I recognize not everybody is therapy bound. So I think the important piece is I think all couples can benefit from some sort of growth mindset outlet, whether that's your house of worship, whether that's self-help books, whether that's coaching. I do think couples need to make sure they are growing together and checking in and taking an inventory. That they are, walking this life similarly. So yes, of course, I believe in the therapeutic route, but I just think as long as they are in growth mentality route.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
What would be your advice to someone who feels like they're doing everything right in dating right now and it's just not working?
Continue to try new things. Continue to lean into your village.
Yeah.
Continue to develop all the skills that make you unique. And then the last but not least, and I think this is the biggest game changer in dating, is take yourself out of your current geography and go somewhere entirely brand new. Like I live in London. Every time I have any of my American friends come over to the UK, oh my God, the moment they say something, people are like, oh my gosh, say it again. It's crazy. Oh my God, you're from New York? Oh my God. Right?
It's so sexy and
so
exotic.
sexy, right? You said, the way you said hot dog. Hot dog. But think
All the words.
yeah. But think about it. It's like, it's, and I'm sure you've experienced that coming from Canada, right?
Yeah.
It's one of these where when we take ourselves out of our geography and we are around open-minded people, they will lean in with intrigue and they will typically place a premium on us. It's called the premium effect. Whereas if we're around closed-minded people, they'll think, oh, whatever, you need to get out of here. But the more that we surround ourselves in these new environments, the more we win.
I also would like to say you got to stay hopeful. And I know that sounds a little more like cereal box than I mean it to, but bitterness is unattractive. And I recognize that people can get frustrated if it's not working out. But I think there's something about staying unjaded and not cynical and believing that it's a matter of time. Timing counts. And whether that's you change your geography or you're just patient, you keep staying open. I think you've got to stay open. You got to stay hopeful. You got to stay light.
We're going to play a quick rapid fire game.
Okay.
And then we'll close out with the final question. So this game is called Marriage Material. I'm going to rile off some traits and you're going to tell me if you think it's marriage material or not marriage material.
Okay.
Says they are ready for marriage but still lives at home with their parents. However, they can afford to move out. It's strictly for convenience.
I'm going to tell you, we are going to be the most awful.
We're going to be horrible.
Yeah, because
Rapid fire is not the thing with the relationship
No,
experts.
because we're going to give you the caveat.
The minute I asked, I was like, and I already know where this is going to go.
This could be cultural. This could be he's saving all his money. His parents could be sick. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
So it's okay. So it's still marriage material.
Sure.
Yeah.
With a valid reason.
yes.
Yes. This is going to be awful.
Yeah, we're
This is
gonna
be the
be-
most
we're
awful
gonna-
game
worse.
ever. Yeah.
Still close friends with an ex. Could be a bunch of different reasons.
Yeah, it could be the mother of your child. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Could be an ex from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like fighting for my life looking at these questions. Being like, which one is gonna?
Serena's like, guys, just keep it light. We're
Okay,
like, we're not
I
gonna
have
do
one.
it.
The sexual chemistry is fine, but it's not the best you've ever had.
Again, could grow.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is
The
so
best sex
interesting.
comes from an emotional connection and safetiness. Maybe that's what you need to work on.
And maybe hot sex is because you're in some volatile, emotionally chaotic relationship.
You're stressed. You're at work. You're coming to work. There's no air conditioning.
That's right.
Right? You hate your coworker. So of course.
So this is going to be my question then. Do you believe in deal breakers?
All right, give me an example of a deal breaker.
Let me expand on my question. It seems in a way you believe there is nothing that can't be worked through as long as there's understanding and open-mindedness.
I think that's the set point, right? I mean, I guess, are there deal break, but it's specific to any one person. I don't think that there's ever potentially one deal breaker. I mean, I think our takeaway and why we're being so cagey about it is because it really does go to show that there's so many dimensions, not only to marriage, to human nature, to relationships. It's not so easy just to be like, lives at home, leave him.
Yeah, this touches on my other theory, the island theory.
Oh, you'll like this.
This is the island theory.
Go for it.
The island theory is this, is that if you take any two people, you put them on a desolate island, in 30 years, there's a remix to this too.
Okay, I'm in.
30 years, they are either the most devout, loving couple, or they've killed each other. Now, if we believe that, and I believe that, right, then is there such thing as a deal breaker?
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point. Well, I guess,
And I actually believe that they won't kill each other.
Yeah. They wouldn't want to.
They might want to.
They might want to, but they won't. They'll always prevail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the way we end out all of our episodes is with a little not married to this. We're going to do a relationship edition. I'll go first to give you guys a sec. What I'm not married to is if you're not feeling it with someone that you've gone on a dating app date with, after the second date, if you're still not feeling it, it's okay to call it quits.
How do you define chemistry?
Chemistry, I guess early dating, the easiest tangible example of chemistry would be natural conversation.
Okay, that's interesting.
How do you define chemistry?
I think most people define it differently, but
Yes.
yet we use the term chemistry, right? So it's it's an interesting word. I define it as two parts. One part physical attraction, two part did they listen to me? Did we have that communication flow? If you have both, you have chemistry in my mind.
Yeah, and I guess physical attraction would also, I agree, would be huge too. If you think, I don't ever want to kiss this person, that's probably not going to work out.
Right, because if you have easy conversation, but you don't want to kiss them,
That's a friend.
that's a friend.
Exactly.
That's
It's not
right.
chemistry.
That's not chemistry. Or it's platonic chemistry.
All right. Anything you guys are not married to.
We're terrible. This is the worst game for us.
Yeah.
It feels like you're married to therapy. You're
Yes.
married to open-mindedness. You're married to listening.
Yes.
Yes.
What are you married to? Let's flip it around. What are you married to?
Bagels,
Bagels.
hot dogs,
Listen,
pizza.
also, good sex, hard work, married to hard work, married to patience, married to curiosity. I mean, I think we're married to those things. What are we not married to?
We're married to, commitment, loyalty, respect, curiosity, creativity,
Yep.
ambition.
Yes,
Yes.
all the things that make you excellent and make you an excellent partner to someone. If you're not curious, if you're disrespectful and you're closed-minded, I'm not married to that as a good partner. I'm bad at this game.
No, you're great at this
Serena!
game. I have set you up for a challenge with this one, but you guys did great. I think that is the perfect way to close this out. Can you please tell our listeners where they can find you and follow along?
You can find us streaming on Peacock every Thursday, Married at First Sight. The finale reunion is going to be August 27th, and it is going to be amazing.
Yeah, all I have to say is Lisa loves to steal that line because she gets to say peacock.
This is the truth.
She emphasizes that. She's like
the
streaming
truth.
on
Next
peacock.
time you're here, we're going to be doing a sexual innuendos game with you.
Oh,
for sure.
I will win that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
What I couldn't play today, you give me sexual innuendos game.
I got
we
you
have
guys next time.
We have a competition.
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I won today, actually.
I
think you did too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you snuck in some good ones.
He did.
There you go.
Oh.
Oh, there's and then,
That's
hey,
what
now
she
I'm playing
said.
too.
Okay, round two.
Right, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening to Not Married to This. You can find us here every single Thursday on Instagram at Not Married to This Pod or TikTok and YouTube at Not Married to This or wherever you find your podcasts. Bye.